Now live. Except no one's in here yet. That's why this throws me off every single time. Hello, everyone. If you're tuning in, expecting a live stream of protests, we're not doing that on Instagram anymore. We are live streaming a protest though, so if that's what you came here for, please go to youtube.com/centraltrack or twitch.tv/centraltrack, twitter.com/central_track, and facebook.com/centraltracker to watch live stream of a protest right now. But I will be joined by DJ Poizon Ivy, and I think she's actually already here. Perfect timing. Maybe. It says she's connecting. Hopefully. Maybe not. Ivy, if you can hear me, try to request again. Oh, I think it's working now.
Hello.
Hi.
What's popping?
How are you?
I am wonderful. Oh my gosh, I miss you. I feel like I haven't seen you in forever.
I know. I was trying to think about the last time I saw you. I think it was our
The awards.
the after party.
Yeah.
And it was funny because I swear, I don't know, I'd been drinking, so maybe it was just me, but I went up to you and I was like, hey, and you were kind of like, hey, you, because I hadn't seen you in like 5 or 6 months. My hair's a lot longer and it's blonde.
Yes.
And so I was like, oh shit, she doesn't. Yeah. Well, thank you for doing that too. You did that for us kind of last minute, so we really appreciated that.
Like, first of all, for those of you guys tuning in, if you didn't know, like, our relationship is extremely amazing. You all through for me, I go through for y'all, but that's what family does for one another. So of course.
Yeah. For those of you who are watching, Ivy is the official DJ for the Dallas Mavericks.
So I got I just see a lash that's like hanging a little. That's how comfortable we are, right?
She's also, like we just talked about, a regular contributor and friend of the show at Central Track. We're family. So this is I'm happy to get to catch up with you.
Likewise. First of all, let me just tell you something. Like, literally, I've been getting on Twitter and Instagram, and first of all, shout out to everybody watching, Mavericks, Faith, everybody tuning in. I appreciate it. But no, I've been getting on Twitter, and I'm like, Central Track, like, just like all of my blogs, my entertainment is you guys, not entertainment. I'm just a loyal viewer.
Yeah.
At this point, just so congratulations, but you guys have just been doing such a phenomenal job of how do I say, allowing the city an authentic view of what has been taking place lately, and I don't think that that's unmatched.
Thank you. Yeah. We really appreciate that, and we've heard that a lot. It sounds really bad, but it's true. Even since COVID.
Yeah.
It definitely feels like the last few months have been, even though they've been hard times for us, because right now we're just a 2-person operation. It's Pete and I.
Yeah.
And times have been tough, but it's also been really nice because it feels like, one, people are taking Central Track a little bit more seriously now.
Yeah.
But two, our readers are really, really appreciative of all of the work we've been doing lately. And it's inspiring, you know?
Yeah. It's laborious. First of all, I mean, again, not a lot of people realize that it's you and Pete, you know?
Yeah.
I've been really pleasantly, I wouldn't say surprised, but I'm really happy that it's twofold. I'm happy that the viewership and the subscription and the following is growing. But it's like, damn, did it have to take this
for something like this? I know. Yeah,
yeah.
It's very hard to like reconcile that personally, because it's hasn't been for, COVID was already a beast of its own, and now we're dealing with racism across this country, and it's important work, and we're happy to do it. I don't want that to come across as like we're bothered by any means. Yeah. It's just it's a very strange thing to balance.
No,
But I'm glad you're tuning in. You always keep up with us, though. I appreciate that.
Because I low key. I mean, people. I don't know if people know this or not, and so maybe outing myself. I don't care. I mean, even with my role, like at the Mavericks, I try hard to make sure that Dallas is represented sonically, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where do I go to get that? Like, where do I go to figure out? I go Feature Fridays, and I come to Central Track. So
thank you. I know. I was really. I'm not gonna lie. When I had you send me that list of songs that you had been playing for the Mavs to warm up to,
yeah.
I remember I called you and we talked on the phone, and you were like, "I actually got that Ebo song from Central Track," and I was like, "Shut up."
Yeah, right. I did, and it's like what's funny is it's been a staple. So much of what I find on there, and it's been a while. Obviously, it's been a while since we've been, but I've still been like my arsenal for when we're back open. Yeah, it's gonna be really
thank you.
Every day.
Good. No, and there's a lot of talent to coming out of Dallas right now. I don't remember who I was talking to on one of these the other night, but one of the things I was really bummed about, and it's not to say that this can't continue, but COVID really kind of put a pause on what I thought was like a really healthy thriving music community in Dallas. It really felt like, Dallas, the music scene it's not like it's ever been non-existent, but it really felt like it was about to hit the next level.
Yeah, a new peak, I should say.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And it was a bummer that it kind of, I'm sure, things will pick back up, but it was a bummer that all of that momentum had to be put on pause.
Yeah, I mean, only for the fact that we're not gathering in spaces, right? But
yeah,
that should really, again, if you're a music enthusiast, and I agree, right? This whole between just fuck 2020. I'm sorry, I don't know if I can even.
Yes, you can say whatever you want.
Like 2020 just like put a damper on everything. You know what I mean?
I know.
But I don't think that it stopped. I think creators have gotten to create. So whereas we were on an up and up, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna continue that. I wonder how creators have adapted, right? Obviously their deep element shut down, and your proverbial that allow for that culminate on a social level, which very much does sustain the Dallas music, and a lot of that is very personal, music venue type level. But I think that we should continue to still support these artists digitally, stream their music, create the playlist, do the same thing the music industry is doing now, which is essentially completely migrating. You can still have local, regional, based or focused platforms, playlists, and all that stream.
Yeah,
you guys need to start a music. I know Insta's with music, but it works for independent artists.
Wait, you cut it. Your mic is cutting out. What'd you say?
I said maybe you guys need to start like a live music stream or something. It works with.
I think I lost you. Can you hear me, Ivy? The pause. It's like.
Did I cut out again?
Yeah, your mic is like cutting in and out.
Oh Lord, is this better?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. But what I'm saying.
So, sorry. Go ahead. Say what you're saying.
I said it might be something you guys can pick back up.
You know what? I know we talked about that in the beginning too of COVID, and I think you're right. I think that's something we need to pick back up.
I know.
So you, though, have been so busy, even regardless. You know what, though? I was actually, you were working up until you were at the game, like right before everything like really got shut down. I was supposed to come that night too. Blake Ward invited me to go with him and Christy.
Yeah.
And I couldn't go because I was working, of course. When am I not? But I was bummed because I saw the photos and stuff and that you guys were, and I've never met Christy before, but Blake texted me like, hey, I have an extra ticket. Do you want to come? I couldn't go. I was literally at the office.
Yeah.
But that was literally like right before, that was, I think the game that they caught Cuban with being told, and he was like dumbfounded. Yeah, crazy, right? And you know what's funny? Pete says that was the moment. I knew before when they shut down South by Southwest. I was like, this is real. But Pete says that he wasn't really sold on this being what it ended up being until the NBA got put on hold.
First of all, you got to meet Christy. Like that's I love her. Like such an amazing woman, DJ mother. That's my babe. So you guys got to make sure. Maybe she can do your life. But yeah, I mean that day at work was weird. I mean, it was really weird for me in general because my mother's a medical professional, and literally starting the bottom of February when I got back from All-Star, top of March, my mom was like, "Stop going to work." She was literally like, "Stop going to work," and I'm like, "Mom, can you imagine that? Me calling in and like, hey guys, I'm not coming to work." Those are options I don't ever have, you know?
Yeah.
I could be like on an IV and, you know, life support, and I'll be like,
they'll wheel you in, yeah.
Right. But March 11th came in. It was kind of, first of all, a lot of people don't know. The Golden State Warriors were gearing up to play their first game without fans that day. Right. And so the conversation around the league had already ensued in terms of whether we're going to continue to play with fans or not. And so I came to work, and I mean, and a lot of other measures had previously been taken by the league in terms of player safety. So no media interaction. You put back up? So no media interaction, no fan interaction, no high-five lines. Like anything that would require you to touch or be close to somebody. And so that day I came to work, and the supervisor was like, you know, yes, we're moving forward. It has been confirmed. This most definitely will be the last game with fans. And we were still trying to determine what an essential employee was. You know? And he was like, yeah, you just got the clearance. You're an essential employee. So while everything else is on halt, you get to come to work. So I was like, all right, cool. It's going to be really weird doing cool, but hey, you know. Then literally went from that at 7 o'clock. I literally have the poster on my wall because it was Hans Taplin's day with the poster because he was our posterized designer by way of Dallas. And like, you know, great game, fantastic energy. Like we won like the whole time, but halfway into the game, we're getting all the like Bleacher Reports and like, did you hear what happened? And we're like, what happened? Then it was like 3 players have it. The whole team has it. Like, you know? So that was probably one of the craziest days of my life. So I went from that to the game being no more sports until further notice, you know? So here we are. However many months later, I don't even know if I've lost count.
Yeah. So what do you think about the season starting back up? Do you know anything? What's I know what that means.
Well, I do know this. I know that we're participating. And I know that pending some approvals, and a lot of it is legislative and a lot of it is logistical, that it will take place in Orlando at Walt Disney World. Starting, hopefully, if all goes well, July 31st.
Okay.
And ending approximately October 12th. And the format is, you know, 6 or 8 games to the playoff position, playoff format, as usual. So yeah, that's what I know, and I know that
Okay.
there's a lot still up in the air.
Yeah. Do you know anything about like? I would imagine
Yeah,
no, as of right now, still playing empty.
definitely empty.
Okay,
Definitely, yeah,
that's what I figured.
definitely,
Um,
yeah.
huh. Well, I mean, but you've still stayed busy though. I've seen you've been doing your own lives and all
Yes.
kinds of stuff. What have you been up to?
God has been wonderful because for a little moment there it was scary. Like, while I honestly happen to fall on the very blessed end of the spectrum, and I just work for the best organization ever, and I can't thank, Sant and Mark enough for their community leadership. But if you see what they do for the community, you can only imagine what they do in house for us. You know, there's been a lot of programs to help us as employees cope. Because,
Mhm.
you have people who are mothers, all types. You know what I mean? So I've been able to stay afloat there, but like I still a good chunk of my bread and butter like through events and stuff.
Mhm.
So I set up a home studio here, like you probably see it
Yeah,
over
that's
here.
dope. Yeah.
Yeah, so I set up a home studio. I've been really fortunate to do some like brand work with Daniels for a little while. Live interviews, streams. I co-own a platform called Afro Ballers, which essentially is like a digital media platform covering African athletes across the diaspora. So engage a little bit in that. Um, my baby was home, so I was homeschooling.
I'm sure that was its own.
The
I don't remember who I was.
positives that I have to describe that, but I will say this, man, we're going around like it's just a lot going on. But I hope that if and when schools do reopen in August, I'm showing up with the biggest because we couldn't give them gifts at the end of the year because we couldn't exchange things and
Mm.
whatever else. But I'm showing the biggest coffee mug because our teachers they're just not appreciated. You
Hmm.
But I did that. I've been doing a little bit. My role with the Mavericks is growing and changing. So, been used more on an ambassadorial role. So, like,
Mm.
they host. I was one of the participants in our courageous conversations and hosting, and a little bit more mic work for me. You know.
That's dope.
So,
What you've done for us, and you're a natural.
thank you,
It's
thank you,
true.
thank you, thank you.
It's
So
true.
yeah,
It's
a
a,
lot
it's
of bumming around too. I definitely done.
no, I don't remember. I was talking to someone else on one of these too, and I, I could not imagine having a kid. I can barely take care of myself, but having a kid through all of this and
Yeah.
being home all the time, I couldn't do it.
Then
So,
my mom got COVID.
are you serious?
Dead ass. Like, mom, again, my mom's a nurse, so she
Yeah.
got early, obviously, at work. I mean, assuming at work. And so that was a stressor because, if anybody knows me, like, my most amazing, my best support system is my mother, and as a single mother, like, her and her tag team, my grandmother, my brother, my whole family. I mean, I have an amazing, amazing support system. So we like tag team this thing out. But for 9 weeks, it was me and my kid alone at the house. And it wasn't even that, honestly, Alec. It was just more so like if I want to go to the store, I have to take the child with me
Right.
because there's nowhere else that she can go. But I don't want to take, but I have to take,
Right.
you know? So it was a lot of hard decisions and it's emotionally draining and a bunch of shit. But we're good.
She's a sweet kid too, though. She's very calm and laid back. So I'm sure it's you're probably lucky in that sense that
Oh, thank
you have
you.
a chilled out kid. I've only met
Thank,
her once or twice, but she's
thank
very
you.
very cool.
Yeah.
Um, so let's talk a little bit about. I wanted to ask you. I don't, and this is even pre everything that's going on right now,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll get to that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if you heard about what happened with the Virgin Hotel a few weeks ago.
I did.
Okay, what are your? Tell me. I talked to Blake. Blake did
Yes.
one of these with me,
Yeah.
and he said that he wasn't surprised. Obviously, this
Yeah.
is an issue across Dallas. He's one point a really good point he made was that a lot of the time people assume that it's like an uptown thing, but it's not just uptown. It's Deep Ellum, it's Bishop Art, it's everywhere. So what for those of you who are watching and don't know, a few weeks ago, maybe like a month ago now, it was alleged, and I have to use that word. Sometimes people get mad at journalists for using that word, but I don't want to get sued.
It's not that. It's you covering your ass.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
But it was alleged that the entertainment director at the new Virgin Hotel, has only been open like 5 or 6 months, was fired for refusing to fire DJs who, quote unquote, attract a certain audience, and we know what that means.
Yeah.
So what were your thoughts on all of that as a DJ in Dallas? I mean, you and as a Black woman DJ, and you probably know it better than anybody.
And you know what? It's really unfortunate that my reaction was what it was, and this has been like it's been right along the lines with everything that's been going on in the news right now, and in that space. I was just like, again, you know what I mean? Like, oh, because none of what alleged is nothing that I have heard first or been told, or and I get the brunt of it. I don't say I get the, but people will actually tell me like, so and so can trust you, so I can trust you. And that kind of means that you like so and so.
Wait, you cut out. You cut out. Would you say that again?
I'm sorry. Like, I've actually been approached and booked for gigs under the premise that I know how to handle crowds because of what my main job is. You know what I mean? In terms of working for the Mavericks and working for a pretty prominent owner, and you know, so the assumption is, so like I would say I get attacked, but which sucks because it doesn't matter, you know?
Right?
But it's like I know that my affiliates have gotten me way past doors that would otherwise never be open for me, and it's just an harsh. It sucks, man. It really sucks because the last time the color of a dollar that comes from the pocket of a white person is the same color of the dollar that comes from the pocket of a Black person.
Yeah. And
as a business owner, I would imagine that what you're most concerned with is your bottom line.
Right.
So if the money that I brought, for whatever reason, didn't amount to the same money that, you know what I mean? So then what's the fundamental problem? There's a fundamental personal character flaw.
Right.
And that sucks.
Yeah, I was talking to Robski of Galaxy 9. I don't know if you're familiar with Galaxy 9.
Yeah.
He was saying that in the beginning when they were booking shows, they were packing places out, and they were still they were still getting pushback from places that they were booking. And it's wild. You're right though. When someone is bringing money through the door and you're still upset, that's
it's scary. Can I be
clear that what it is?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't want to feel like I'm dancing around. I mean, it's racism, or I don't want to feel like I'm dancing around the topic.
What you may as well do, you may as well put a sign on your door that says, let's go back to the 60s. And I don't even, like, it's hard to say, but you may as well just put those same signs on your premises so that we know. Be out there about it.
Yeah.
But the dancing in between and the dancing around and the lingo and the verbiage and the subliminals and all that stuff, come on, man. You know?
Yeah. No, I mean, if you're right. If you're willing to lose money over because you want to be racist, then you're right. You should have to say it with your chest.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Interesting. Well, have you ever been in a situation in Dallas specifically where they've come to you like that? Really?
Oh, yeah. And you know, and that I struggle with that because I struggle with, I don't say quote unquote people, but it's like when you come play a gig and it's like it's almost like your crowd treats you like, first of all, I'm a DJ. I'm not a jeweler. I'm not a CD player, you know. But not only is it the instruction you're given upon entering Miss, but then it's how the people treat you. It matches. They match all that, you know. And you start to feel violating feeling if I just keep, you know. But what ends up happening, or what ended up happening, is that I just don't deal, you know. I don't deal because it's almost like there's no money that's worth making me feel like that, you know. Because I work hard, and so do a lot of other DJs. And yeah, there's no money you can pay me that will allow me to compromise my self-worth, you know. So
Yeah.
nothing new to me.
That's unfortunate though.
Yeah.
But here's hoping that with everything going on, it's easy for me to say because it's not an issue that I have to deal with, but I am optimistic with the way things, with what's happening now. I'm optimistic that change really is coming this time. But I know that, what are your thoughts? I mean, that's easy for me to say.
No, and listen, the one thing that I love about our generation is that we've been true. You know what I mean? And now I understand that some of my peers are just now starting to come to terms with certain things, like, oh wait, you mean to tell me like your mom really had to talk with you or whatever? And it's hard to believe that, yes, in our household, when it comes, especially like my brother's 14, about to go to high school, you know, a Jesuit, and I'm just like, okay, about that time. You know what I mean? I went to holiday. There was an incident very recently that hit the news. I don't know if you saw it, but some black children were hanging out at the Sonic Inwood, and you know, purchase food, patronize parking lots. You know how Sonic is. Sonic has always been the jump off, right?
Yeah.
And you know, an employee comes out, and now granted, Sonic has since apologized publicly to the families, but comes out and threatens to.
I heard about this.
Yeah, you know, I can probably call the police. And it's like, you know what? Turn the clock back 10 years. That was Ivy Hockaday. You know, if I wasn't in a plaid skirt and my blazer, or I'd gone to the place in plain clothes, and then with my Hockaday uniform, and got treated like two completely different people. You know, so, but you know what though? We're gonna be fine. You know, and I don't say we as in like black people. I mean we as in all. Like when I tell you that 2020 had, for me, spiritually, I don't know if anybody who's watching is like a spiritual person, but this was projected to be a year of change. You know, nobody really knew how immense the change was going to be. But this is not an America thing. This is a global thing. Like, folks are woke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Folks are tired. All types of folks. Black,
Yeah.
blue, green, yellow, purple, everything and in between, you know? There's just no more, like, there's no more room for inhumanity, you know?
Yeah.
And so, like I said, I mean, some of the things you see, like the George Floyd situation, just is heartbreaking. I think a lot of the stuff is me too, because I'm a mother now, you know? And
Yeah.
when a life is lost, you think about the family, but a lot of people don't know. You know, they always say when a mother like hurts for her child, like it's almost like that labor pain is a pain like nobody will ever feel, like unless you just birth a child, you know. But that's the pain that comes to mom. But it's not just his mom; it's all, you know, because that's somebody's baby at the end of the day, you know. And so yeah, it definitely hits different this time, and I pray that we move towards a a utopia. And I mean, we're not gonna always hold hands and sing kumbaya,
Right.
you know, but I have so many mixed race people in my family that, I mean, my family could be the United Nations, God damn it. Like, yeah. And so I just pray that, again, that we keep this same energy forever.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's going to take, it's not, a lot of people think like, oh, you know, we had a really strong week last week and everything's fixed now. You know, things are getting a little quiet from some people, but it's going to take time.
But Alex, people don't realize, you know, like we might not even live to quote unquote see the real change that
you're right.
is being affected right now.
It's because it's interwoven in so many. It's not just. I was talking to Miguel Solis about this last night. He's on the school board. It's not just the police department. I mean, this is interwoven in everything here. You know, so it's. This is just one step. So you're right. I mean, who knows? We might not in our lifetimes not see total change, but
yeah.
I do feel like people are, like you said, fed up this time.
And that's why I told my mom, because like I didn't even tell my mom when I went out to a protest, child, because my mom would be like, "Get your in the house. You have a child to raise. You have something to live for." It wouldn't be like that, but you know. But I'm like, Mom, that's why I'm out here, because I do have a child to raise, because I do have somebody who has to live in this earth, hopefully long after me, you know?
Yeah.
And so, but I think what came out of attending and being a part of marches and all of that was the energy, you know? I know that term is used entirely too loosely right now, but it's feeling that same energy that everybody's feeling, but collectively, it's like electric, you know? And there's something about that makes me want to just keep going and going and going. But I hope everybody's going out there with masks as a child, because
yes, please wear a mask. Those numbers are going up again too. I don't know if you've been seeing. I'm a little concerned about that. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to. We are pro protests over here, but
so let me think about this. Clay Jenkins, in collaboration with Mavericks and a couple of other local area organizations, are putting on a protesting like conversation. I'll send it to you in case y'all want to share with the your followers.
Yeah.
But what it is he's requesting that if you have been out at a protest in the past 5 days, you know how.
Oh yeah, we've been keeping up with this.
Yeah,
I think that's dope.
Yeah, come tomorrow.
You don't even have to show symptoms, I don't think.
Nope. It's 2 to 5. Obviously, the location is somewhere by the AAC. And you can get tested
for free.
And for free. Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah. I think that's great. I'm very happy about that. They don't even know too. The reports. I've been kind of keeping up with how experts are saying protests will affect. Some of them are saying because it's outside, transmission is much more difficult. So it's not like you're shoulder to shoulder with somebody at a concert. You know what I mean? Rubbing up on someone.
Yeah.
But we don't know yet. I was reading about. I've been checking it because this COVID thing. I mean, it's real, you know. And but I also want people to protest. They don't know yet. They said, well, we won't know if this really made a difference in cases or not for a few weeks.
Yeah.
Much like with that's kind of the way it's been this whole time with COVID.
Yeah.
It's just we just don't know enough yet. But I'm glad that they're doing that pop up. I was really excited about that.
Once you get tested, you can you can pick up like free PPE gear, at least masks and hand sanitizer provided by the Mavericks as well. So
that's dope. Did not know that part. Cool.
Yeah.
So kind of going back to protests, I would imagine too that this is probably like twice as hard for you because you're a Black woman yourself, but you also have a baby. So I would imagine you probably have to, not only do you have to internalize it on your own, but then you also have to worry about this life like that you're responsible for. So how has, and this isn't the first time this has happened. I mean, we see this unfortunately a lot with what's going on. But I mean, and you don't have to share anything you don't feel comfortable sharing with, but what is your mindset been like and how you talk to your daughter about all of this?
I mean, I'll be transparent. My daughter is with her father for the summer, but it is, and I know that, and it's funny. I was talking to my about this yesterday because conversation that he will have with her is different from the conversation that I will have with her. It's similar, but it's different. You know what I mean? Because for him, I know that he's harboring a lot of, pain. I've reached out to so many of my friends, my young black male friends, because it's just like, this is traumatic. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't say it's not just black men, because I'm sitting here like, so I just saw some post something where it was like they're really dragging their feet with Breonna Taylor's, murderers. What do we gotta do? Fuck some more shit up? You know? Because as a black woman, and growing up, made this very clear that you're going. She said it to me so many times, like all the time. Oh,
Pete
sorry.
just called me. Did that
Okay.
cut me out?
Oh,
Did
no,
I go
you're good.
black for a
You're
second?
good. For a little hot minute,
He's
because
been texting me like, "Are you live? Are you live?" And I'm like, "What the hell is he doing?
why don't you just
What does he mean? Am I
Pete?
live?" If somebody in this who's watching right now knows Pete Friedman, please tag him or text him or something and let him know. Yes, we are. I don't know why
Like,
he
yes,
can't.
we are live, Pete. Or he can just jump
He's
in.
been texting me this whole time, and I can't text him back because then it will close you out. So,
Right. The struggle.
anyway,
That's the IG life struggle.
yeah.
But
Anyway, we were
no,
in the middle of a very important conversation. Thank you, Peter.
Pete.
Great
No,
timing, that guy.
but yeah, my mother made it very clear to me very early on that I would have to work 4 times as hard as everybody else, meaning I would have to beat out the white woman, I would have to beat out the black man. Actually, the black man, then the white woman, then the white man, whoever else lied in between. I still feel at times that we still lie at the bottom of the totem pole, and it's heartbreaking. It's very heartbreaking because it's like we're also the life givers, you know. So it's like, what do we have? You know.
Yeah.
So I get my baby girl, and I'm like, damn, okay. Um, I have to explain to you your race. And then for me, I'm an immigrant, and I have to explain to her her heritage, the darkness of, the origins of all the way from slavery up until now. And, she's equally as African as she is American, you know. Um, but I'm hopeful because I'm hopeful that how I live my life will be all the inspiration she needs. And I won't have to be repairing. I need to inspire, you know. But it is hard because it's damn. I can't imagine somebody not like you. I saw George Floyd's daughter.
Hold on, your mic is cutting out again.
Sorry.
That's
I said
okay.
I saw George Floyd's daughter at the funeral, and it broke me, because it's like, damn, just like that, somebody took her dad away, and you don't think that sometimes, you demonize a human being so much, but that's somebody's father. Somebody needs him, that's somebody's husband. You look at a Botham Jean, or you look at a Namard Arbery, or you look at a, Amadou Diallo, you look at a Sean Bell who was murdered the night before his wedding, you look at, Eric Gardner, like, whose daughter couldn't even recover from that, ended up losing her life. Like, this shit is traumatic,
Yeah.
But we can't dwell in the pain, and we can't dwell in the harm, and we can't dwell in any of that. And um, so I just try to do everything in my power, um, to show her that her blackness is superpower. We've had the mommy wise, like, not the other girl conversation. We've had the mommy, why don't they come play at my house conversation. Mommy, why don't they insert here? But we've also had the mommy, like, the stereotypes are just 1,000%. Like, when I go to one of her games and it's like, oh, you're Kiani's mom. She's really good. And I'm like, yeah, she's really good. But is she really good because she's the only black girl on the team?
Mm.
And so I don't, allow her to dwell a moment in any type, you know. But I always the way I choose to do it, I like to keep along is to show her that everything about her is a superpower, and I'm allowing the narrative, you know. And yeah,
That's beautiful.
yeah,
Yeah.
thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah,
Someone asked a really good question
yeah.
in the comments, and you guys can use, I don't know if you can see, if you're watching, there's a question box down on, I think, the right-hand side. Sometimes it doesn't show up when we go live, but if it's there, please feel free to use it if you have any questions. But someone asked, what are you doing with the position you have, music, to amplify the voice of not just justice, but equal rights? And that's a question for both of us. I'll let you go first.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, and that's what I'm saying. It's funny because all these things that are happening now and that everybody's vocal about, and I'm not saying they're wrong for it, but I've been doing this my whole life. You know what I mean? If you know anything about me, like I'm on the radio. I'm on K104, KKDA, you know, church station here in Dallas. Champion female artist. I fight for female artists because even if you look at mainstream music, it's so hard for a female artist to break through. As it's almost like if you look at the top 10, I dare you to go at Billboard right now, top 100. Yeah, it's if your name is not Beyonce, Nicki Minaj, you know, and Megan Thee Stallion right now, Jhené Aiko on the on the black side, you know,
Mm-hmm.
then like on the pop side as well, like it's fucking hard, you know. So I play them, I support them with the arena, you know. I keep it diverse. I play controversial songs. Like I'm not afraid to take it there, you know. Um, and that's just what I can do with what I have right now, you know. But I consume the music. If I could make it, which I might here shortly, I would do it, you know. But yeah, definitely just again using my platform to allow those people who wouldn't ordinarily be allowed a chance to shine, a chance to shine.
Don't tease me with you making music either, because now I'm going to be calling for you to feature on people's stuff. I hope you know that.
We'll
But no,
talk.
okay. I mean, your existence, I think, is you being you is.
Wait, hold on. Pete just texted me. He's like, "Y'all okay?" Alec isn't responding to my text.
Why can't he just watch? We're maybe his phone is sorting out. I don't know what his deal is. He normally will join these when I'm on.
Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah, please text him back. We're live. I don't know what this guy's talking about.
We're okay and crying, laughing at you on live.
I don't know what this guy's deal is. That's funny. I guarantee you. I know he's literally texted me like 4 or 5 times. Are you okay? What's going on? What happened? Why aren't you live? I'm busy. I am live.
I'm eager to get down to the bottom of this once we get off the phone. I'm like, why don't you just get on Instagram and then go on
right?
Like,
you know what I think he's probably doing? He doesn't use Instagram on his personal account a lot. I have a feeling he's logged into the Central Track one, and when the account that you're live from, it doesn't show you that you are live because you're live. Does that make sense?
Live. Right.
So I think he maybe is on the Central Track one is forgetting.
He goes,
oh shit,
hi,
I can't watch.
What is this guy going through?
That must be. That's got to. I don't know what else it could be.
Right.
Again, with his timing interrupting us, I was saying though, I think your existence is amplifying voices. No, but seriously, I mean, you're only the second woman DJ in the NBA, the first to ever DJ the All-Star game. I mean, you're breaking, barriers on your own. So keep doing what you're doing. I think that's your existence is amplifying voices.
Gosh, thank you for like my daily like dose of love, go boost, and everything in between.
I mean it.
I know you do, and I appreciate it.
As far as like what I'm doing, I think I'm at a little bit of an advantage, and I don't want to say that Pete isn't. Pete is definitely hyper aware of amplifying these voices too. These are conversations we have a lot as editors. But I'm at a little bit of an advantage because I only graduated college a year ago. And I took not that young. One of the most interesting classes I learned from the most in journalism, they require this class, is race and gender in the media. And there you learn so much about representation, especially in the media. And it's, it's one thing to notice it on your own, but when you're constantly being given studies and research and, specific instances of things happening, it really does change your mind. And this kind of goes back to Miguel last night was saying that he thinks that there needs to be a mandated
regulatory, like, order. It's back.
Yes,
Been saying it.
And I really think that would make a huge difference. When I took that race and gender class, it was there were so many things. Some of it I was already aware of on a very small scale. My mom is Mexican, and so I've seen, people say, like, when she asks people, "Oh, where are you from?" and she just means, like, what city, what state, and they tell her the United States of America, and it's like, and she's like, "So am I. Like, what do you think you're doing here?" You know what I mean?
That person.
Yeah. So I've seen it on very small scales. Nothing. It's not comparable to what Black people are going through in this country. But
it is, though. Can I be real with you? It is, because guess what? It all starts somewhere. You know what I mean? If something offends you, Alec, it offends you. It doesn't have to be an offense to you, as minimal as it may seem, is an offense to you. So if you, for whatever reason, assume or presume that granted, yes, in terms of systemic, of how systemic, how it lives, then okay, that's different. But no, like, all that shit's the same. All hate is equal.
That's true. That's true.
No.
That is true.
Yeah.
And we're very aware of, we're hyper aware, I would say, at Central Track of, making sure that it's an even playing field for everyone, and it's not even things as little as, like, a good example is like Song of the Day. We've put a pause on that, but we're actually bringing that back next week. But when we do that, naturally, sometimes, maybe 4 or 5 male artists will drop music all at once, and it's like, holy shit, like, I need to catch up on all this music. So much good music just dropped. And then, we write about them for right after the release. And then sometimes you take a second, like, holy shit, when is the last time I wrote about a woman? So these are constant conversations I have, and I know Pete does too, but constant conversations I'm having with myself, and I'm always, trying to learn it and be more aware. But it's definitely something we are aware of at Central Track, and I'll be the first to admit that journalism in general doesn't do a very good job with representation and really, making sure that everybody's story is being told equally. I remember when I was the editor-in-chief at UNT, the North Texas Daily, the school paper there. One of the things I really, really wanted to focus on, because a lot of professors, particularly female professors and professors of color, when I first was chosen to be editor-in-chief, it was a whole process. They put me on this long email thread, basically just tearing the Daily apart, and rightfully so, just being like, hey, just so you know, female students don't feel comfortable because they feel like it's a boys' club at the North Texas Daily, or, Black students especially don't feel comfortable because they feel like it's not a welcoming space for them. And I don't want to say that I wasn't maybe somehow a part of that by default, because I was an editor at the paper, but I when I got into that, I was like, holy shit, like, I didn't know that's what was going on. So I actively started to change things. I started with, I don't want to take all of the credit here, with the president of NABJ, Alexia Johnson. We started a thing called Common Roots, where people from NABJ, I totally understood that they didn't feel comfortable coming to the Daily. So it was my responsibility as the editor to go to them, So I have definitely been hyper aware, but I will say it's even though that like is clearly the right thing to do, you still get pushed back. I remember the fall semester of when I first became editor-in-chief, we were running a lot of female sports on the cover, soccer, volleyball. There was a women's powerlifting team that we put on as the main package. Cool stuff, right? And there was a Dallas Morning News reporter who came to give us a visit, who went to UNT years before, to tell us that some of our readers were very unhappy that we weren't putting football. It was football season, and we weren't putting, our priority was not on, at the time, what was still is a male-dominated sport. So there's, I think, and I don't know if do you keep up with Bon Appetit? I'm just kind of rambling here because and like I said, these are constant conversations I'm having with myself all the time. Wait, you cut out. What'd you say?
I said no. You and I are always in the same way. Like, no, I definitely do keep up with Bon Appetit. Like,
okay, so with Bon Appetit, it came out that they don't pay their contributors of color near what they pay the white ones, and so you would think, and the girl who finally spoke out, she even said that she had kind of been something she was internalizing for a while, but she couldn't take it anymore. So even when you think, yes, I'm doing the right thing, a lot of people have to like hold on to it a little bit, because you're like, I know I'm doing the right thing, but then there are people who are trying to counteract that. Does that make sense?
It makes 1,000% sense, because I mean, I've been in too many of these situations where it's like, okay, so at Hockaday, for example, I think one of the youngest yearbook editors there was, right? I know. You don't even know.
I didn't know.
Was inside of me. Like,
no.
Look, well, because I love expression. So music is just another form of expression for me. I wrote on like I didn't write for the forecast, but I've contributed to the forecast a lot. Like, I love talking, and talking sometimes for me, it comes out in different forms. But even with that, and it was just kind of like, there was a lot there, I wouldn't say there was pushback, but I had hecka imposter syndrome, because here's the thing, Alec. Sometimes some of us, and not all of us, I don't speak for everybody, but I know that you find yourself in positions of power and then you're just terrified, because you're there is an expectation that more people like you will get more representation than they have before. But then there's also on the flip side, the expectation that you will just lead as fairly as a person of any other race would. Like, no, when I get there, I'm definitely doing the most for my folks who never get the most done for them.
Right.
But like, I'm gonna have to take the flak for that. And there've been even, is it TikTok and a whole bunch of things that are like, being exposed for, again, not equal or not providing extra. And that's kind of scary, because it's like, then that means you're having two different conversations. It's kind of like somebody goes somebody goes in for a deal, right? And you guys are equally as good, equally as talented. Maybe the black one even more than the other one. But it's like, for you, I have X amount of money. For you, I only have X amount of money. Like, the budget somehow gets smaller, and again, the question that I beg is why? That is a personal character flaw of any person who in a position of power operates such. We hire on ability, and ability has nothing to do with skin color, gender, orientation, or any other classifier. Like, judge me on that. Don't judge me on anything else, or don't assume that because I am black or a lesbian or gay or whatever, that somehow my abilities are compromised or gonna you or gonna affect your company or your publication. Then again, just say what you said. This is what we want, and this is what we want our brand to look like. I won't bother. and neither will anybody else who looks like me. I won't bother to patronize it. I won't bother to read it. I ain't gonna come knock on the door. It says don't knock.
Why would you?
Why?
Yeah.
You know? So.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah.
1,000% on that.
Yeah. But
that was a great question, though, from whoever spawned that long answer from us.
Right. Over
great
here,
question.
just tugging on heartstrings and what.
Well, I'm gonna wrap this up because I think Instagram is gonna kick us off here in like 2 minutes.
A couple of minutes. Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining me. It's so good to see you. And
I was actually just going to tell you, I was so looking forward to this. By
really?
the way, I'm at that point where it's like another interview. That's why you see, I don't even. So my photographer and videographer is here, and he was like, "You need the ring light," and I'm like, "No, I'm by the window. I'm in my chair, halfway in a t-shirt with my hair, and I don't even know what kind of ponytail this is." I'm like, I'm calling Alec, and whoever wants to judge on.
No, my hair is still wet from hours ago when I washed it, and I thought this. I was like, we're homies. I don't have to worry about that with her.
Right. I almost came on here without my lashes, child. I'm gonna have some.
They look good for what it's worth.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. You're always so warm and welcoming, and it's so nice to talk to you and catch up with you.
Thank you so very much. So much love to you. So much love to Pete. So much love to Track, and I'm very happy and very proud and it's very supportive of the amazing work that you guys continue to do for this community. So thank you.
Likewise.
All right.
We'll talk soon, okay?
All right.
Bye.
Bye.